Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening, as we're here now on Wednesday, the 16th of August, 2023. So the event of the day, if I can call it that, was the 1 o'clock release of the Fed minutes. And it shows the Fed that, yes, there are breaks in the ranks happening. Certain members do want to stop. They don't want to go too far. They're scared of breaking the economy, over-tightening. Others are plow ahead. You're not getting there. The core inflation numbers are too sticky. You've got to keep the pressure on the market in order to beat the inflation animal back. That's the arguments. Will Fed Chair Powell go to Jackson Hole? I think it's next week. We'll see. If he talks there, all eyes will be on it. That'll be a big event. But what this does is it puts the dollar up against a host of currencies, and that in turn pressures markets that are priced in dollars. In addition, it's a tax on us. Now remember, most people have a credit card or they have something they bought and they owe money on, blah, blah, blah. What do you pay on that? That's the big problem. And you're paying 30% or thereabouts in some of these cards. I keep getting in the mail, hey, transfer a balance to me. It is going to be free to you for this year, but you have to pay, now listen to this one, 5% of the amount that you transfer. I started laughing that I'm reading all this. And then after a year, you only have to pay 29.94%. I'm cracking up as I'm reading all this. Okay, but I'm sure people move money around and they go, hey, I can't afford that interest payment. Let me do this. And yeah, it's going to cost me. Maybe I can negotiate with them down that amount. Who knows? That's what is going on in a big, fancy manner. We had other reports today, and you're still seeing parts of the economy acting good. We saw housing. I think that's doing pretty darn well. The start numbers were up. Permits were a surprise. They didn't jump as much as I thought they would, but those starts are still looking pretty good, and that's impressive in itself. When we take a look here, as we get into this, before I get too far, because my brain's telling me stop here for a minute, I made a promise yesterday that I was going to do a report. And I did it. Now, my reports are videos. And the reason is I can show so much in a video to write what I'd want to write. And with the video, I can cut that down and give you so much more information in less time. And you can replay the video. That's the neat part. Just don't close your browser. Just hit replay. It's pretty simple at the bottom. So I decided to do the 30-year bonds. And with it, I'm going to give you price counts, seasonal charts, the daily charts, the weekly charts, and what I'm seeing going on in the market. I think it's very complete. I just completed one, a week ago, 10 days ago in the stock indices, where overall I was pointing out that August is a down month typically, but you got to be even more careful of September. Historically, it can even go a bit further. Well, so far you're not seeing any rallies in August, so it's doing its job to a degree. I'm nervous about September. But what about this report? How do you get to it? Go to iraepstein.com. Under the word research on the top right, give it a click. You'll see the report there. If you want to get there immediately, just move your cursor to the top here. Give that a click. It'll take you right to that area as well. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day? Not yet. Why? Because we're not through with the charts. So for those of you that wanted to leave, shame on you. We're still here. Are we going to go back to the 43.62 level? The 18-day average of closes, the line in the sand, and what I teach is often on good corrections, that's where the market likes to go. You did that back here, you did it here. So is this a good enough correction that we're unfolding right now to take us down there? It could be. Why not? Markets have a tendency to break between now, as I said, into September, well into September. You can see the rollover that's taken place. You have lower highs, lower lows. What's the definition of a downtrend? If you know anything about charting, that is the definition of a trend. Down, lower high, lower low. Then what's the definition of an uptrend? Higher lows, higher highs. What's no trend? Some sequence of a higher high and a lower low, where they're not in step with each other. Where might this market go? Well, one number for the here is the 100-day average at 43.37 on the daily chart. So where's the Bollinger Band? Well, you're running it. Remember I gave you that word, gorilla glue trade. And what happens with a gorilla glue trade is the market starts riding this band, you push out of sideways action, and then inevitably you try to embed. Embed means you're taking down these numbers, the slow stochastic under 20 for several days or more. And in the process, the market gets lockstep to the downside. Now, the average person will say, oh, this market's oversold. No, there's a transition. There's personality changes to indicators. Learn to work with them. And when it locks down until this red line's over 21, no, I think on each of these rallies, now the pro is going to be an aggressive seller, looking to push the market down as far as they can. There's two profit-taking numbers I pay close attention to. You don't get one of them here. I will not give you everything I do for free here. It's not going to happen. And it's a window envelope the way that I create it, which is different than the standard deviation of a window envelope. So you don't know where that number is, and I'm not going to give it. It's in my morning subscriber video, along with a cell number that I teach. And you come in each day. It's calculated right there. I show it on the chart, and away you go. NASDAQ, embedded reading, riding the lower band. Not completely. You didn't hit it today or the day before. So you backed away from that. Was that the correction? Yeah, that was the correction. And now the market's already coming down, trying to make lower lows than yesterday. The Dow, not embedded yet. You've just begun hitting the lower band. And as you can see, we had a market right here that, remember I tell you, inevitably you try to go sideways when you see these narrow in. I like them to go sideways longer. The longer they go, inevitably the better the trade that comes out of it. This market's not even trying that. It's just trying to break down. So I wouldn't call this sideways action, unfortunately. In the Russell, same thing. You tried a little bit of the sideways, didn't do it. You latched on. Now, this is to me an area where shorts, it's time to cover some shorts, time to cover some shorts. You're down to the 200-day average in the lower band. I don't care how much lower it goes. That's the high percentage cover short area. Now in the T-bond market, I'm bearish. Are we going to embed? Let's see. You can't count tonight. So remove tonight. Let's see what Wednesday. Both numbers were under 20. They were not under 20 together the day before. So you're just in an oversold market that's not embedded, clearly on a swipe, a vertical move to the downside, not a trend trade. What's a vertical move? Just that. Instead of a pattern where you're making lower highs, lower lows, you just let go and you slip. Okay. Notice how the market has stayed under the 18-day average of highs since back here at the very end, actually, of July. It got under it, and it's just stayed all the way through. Again, that rule gives you an idea. Relationship of price to the 18-day average sets up what is the bias of the market. If I step over here now to the 5-year note, not embedded at the lower band, and again, at first a vertical move. That can change. If you don't take out today, Tuesday's high, on Wednesday, this is Wednesday's action already there, then I will have the pattern of lower highs, lower lows develop. In the dollar index, this is now it's been your resistance area. I've told you the market's going to have some problems at the 200-day average in the Bollinger Band, but it's now locked in and loaded. It's embedded reading. At any point, it can surprise you. Do I think the market will turn bearish? Only you'll lose the momentum if you get the red line to close under 79. It's 93. That's not going to be easy without a big break. Eurocurrency down into the support zone now. So now you're back to the 108.70 level. Market's still looking to me bearish, breaking apart down here, not looking good. How do you fight the rates that not the Fed, but the market is giving you in America? That's what's going on. This is not a Fed-engineered move. The market is taken over from the Fed with the help of the U.S. Treasury because Janet Yellen, every single day, is in the market for some crazy billions of dollars worth of debt that she's selling. And in order to attract buyers, she's got to keep going with higher and higher rates, and that's just what's happening. I saw today a 17-year note, T-bond, T-bill, let's call it. 17, did I say year? 17 week, that's what it was, paying over 5%. So for 4 months, that's what you're going to get from the U.S. Treasury. Come on, this is big time. I think it was 5.3 or something. Pretty big. In the British pound, fighting the battle at the 18-day average of closes. Market never embedded, got oversold. Now you're correcting it. Both numbers are not yet over 30. When they are, then you're no longer oversold. Then we look for the trend to see what it's going to be. Bitcoin. So Coinbase today became a futures commission merchant. What does that mean? It means that they have said we will fall under the rules that all the rest of guys like me have to fall into, and they are now commodity brokers. They're a futures commission merchant, which means they can take orders for exchange-traded Bitcoin, Ether, anything the exchanges are trading. So this is a good move for them. I like that they have joined the rest of it. It also means their advertising will have to change dramatically. You have to balance, when you're in the industry and you're a registered broker, risk evenly with profit. You cannot say, buy this, it's going to make you a heck of a lot of money. Oh, no. That's called jail time. Doesn't work out. They have to do what all of us do. And they will. And I applaud them for joining in. They tried it 2 years ago. It took this long to get it, but I like to see that. So now the question is, we go back to the market. This market's under an attack. I mean, so far, nothing good has happened. The SEC has not said they're doing anything on these ETFs. Kathy Wood seems to think that the floodgates will open all in one day and that Moses will come walking out. They're going to open and the SEC is going to say 19 funds that have applied, you can all come in and get this. Okay. Brent versus WTI coming straight on up here into the 450 level. So it's gaining on it. So in other words, all of them are falling, but Brent isn't falling as fast as WTI. You lost the embedded reading, and did I not warn you, when you lose this reading, you pull the plug on this market. Here you go. That's lost. Now I'm looking for a minimum, the 18-day average of closes, and it can go more. I mean, now you've just pulled the plug on the momentum. Could you go to the Bollinger Band? You could. Why? What's happening in China? Are you aware? Are you keeping up with it? This week alone, we're only at Thursday's trade for tomorrow. They're no longer going to report on youth unemployment. And today, being their time, it was probably yesterday, they sent out an order to stock trading firms that in a select list of stocks, you cannot enter sell orders if you don't have buy orders to match up. Doesn't have to be at the same price from what I understand. So you got 1,000 shares you want to sell. There better be 1,000 shares that are going to be bought. Now, do I know if they have to match in price or not? I don't know. But I've seen this game from them before. They've done it before. So if you think that they're not transparent, shame on you. They are very transparent. They tell you they're not going to report on youth unemployment. So now 21% of the people or more that are unemployed, you're not going to hear again, but they told you they're going to do that. It's transparent. They just told you that they're going to manipulate the stock market by not allowing sell orders to go in when people want to sell. That is transparency. They're telling you they're going to do it. So come on, give them credit for being transparent. In WTI crude, higher high, lower low, and the market coming down like this. All right, you know why it's coming down. Need I tell you? Who's the big buyer of crude and been that way? Now, the question is, will the teapot industry, and it's not the things that we drink out of. Teapots are the private refiners and the people that go out and keep buying oil, and then they take that, they create the products, the gasoline, the diesel, all jet fuel and everything, and they sell it on the market. They have been doing brisk business. Will it continue with all this going on? I don't know. Gasoline, you're in an important area right here. Are we going to get, and thank you for telling me, I had a Biden moment yesterday when I said Memorial Day. It is Labor Day holiday coming up. And for that, the end of the summer holiday, how's that? I started laughing at myself when that happened. Are we going to get another rally out of it? We could. Gasoline, I'll tell you, there's a lot of refineries now down in America for their crossover maintenance into heating oil and jet fuel and other things that we do. So that could happen if people take to the road. So I'd be careful. This is no sell signal in this chart. This has been a correction in a bull market. And right here, the trade is probably buying with stops under that low. That's my guess as to what they're doing. In that gas, as I told you, we've got plenty of gas. What's going to happen on Australia is so important for Europe. They went up dramatically this week in price. Dramatically. I'm talking, near 30% in prices, because they're fearful that Europe's going to have to compete now with a new person, Asia, if Australia, which is 11% of the world production of nat gas, goes on strike. And we don't know. But the market's already preparing for it. Notice that it doesn't even affect us. We've got so much of this. So you put it together, you got your game plans, you work accordingly with them, you see what you can do. I want you to take a look at this report. They're only up 3 days, 3 business days. That's it. This is not about history. This is about right now what I think. It's a video report. IraEpstein.com, under the word research. Remove your cursor to the top. Enjoy it, and I'm Ira.